Jack, his wife, and their son were camping in a remote area when a strange light appeared in the sky. He reassured his family it was just fireworks, but still uneasy, he decided to drive off alone to check it out. Racing through the forest, a figure suddenly appeared in front of his car. Jack hit the brakes just in time. The stranger introduced himself as Captain Sean Irons of the U.S. Air Force, explaining that he'd been on a mission when an accident forced him to crash land. Together, they trekked through the woods until they discovered a glowing object that looked like an alien spacecraft. Suddenly, a bright orb shot out, playfully circling Irons before settling right into Jack's hand. A loud explosion echoed through the forest, startling Jack's family and knocking Irons unconscious. From that moment on, the orb chose Jack as its new owner. With it, he became Firefly, a superhero who saved countless lives and helped bring crime rates down across the city. While the world celebrated Firefly as a hero, his son Charlie felt ignored by a father who was always too busy saving others to spend time with him. Still, Charlie idolized superheroes. One day, he proudly gave a classroom presentation about his favorite hero, Firefly, right as Maya, a former classmate, returned, leaving him flustered. After school, Charlie joined a baseball game, only to get hit in the stomach by the ball and taken out of the game. His heart sank even more when he saw other dads cheering from the stands, while his own father was absent again, busy with work. Luckily, Mia was there watching, and her presence gave him a little comfort. On the way home, Charlie replayed the day's embarrassment, worrying about what Mia thought of him. At home, the TV showed news reports of Firefly's heroic deeds. He'd become so effective that the police now had too much free time, and the government was even considering cutting staff. That night was Charlie's birthday. His mom insisted that Jack spend the evening with him, bringing Charlie over to Jack's private home. Though Charlie sensed his dad didn't really want him there, he still went inside. His mom handed Jack a cake, urging him to reconnect with his son. Charlie was quietly disappointed. Jack no longer kept the mug he'd once given him, and even bought a right-handed baseball glove, though Charlie was left-handed. Jack apologized, promising to make it up to him. All Charlie wanted was another family camping trip, but Jack muttered, "When I have time." That evening, they ordered pizza and played games, actually having fun together for the first time in ages. But then Jack's phone rang. Charlie already knew it was another mission. On his birthday, his dad couldn't stay. Heartbroken, Charlie burst into tears. Jack tried to explain, but Charlie refused to listen. Pretending to call his mom, he told Jack to just go. The moment Jack left, Charlie called his chubby friend to come over and celebrate at his dad's place. Charlie expected just him, but he also brought Lizzie and Maya along. Seeing his crush walk in, Charlie was thrilled, but tried to act cool. Maya noticed a framed photo and asked if it was his birthday. Charlie thought she had remembered, but then realized she just read the date printed on it. Embarrassed, he apologized for teasing her back in school, which had led her to transfer. By accident, Charlie touched the orb, revealing a hidden passage with a digital password lock. Lizzie took charge of cracking the code while the others looked around. His dad's birthday didn't work. The wedding date didn't work either, but when Charlie entered his own birthday, the door unlocked. Shocked, he realized his father still cared. Behind the door was an elevator with a single button. Maya confidently pressed it, and the group screamed as it dropped down into a massive underground chamber filled with futuristic technology. At the main console, they saw surveillance images of the orb and Firefly's missions, confirming what none of them had expected. This was Firefly's secret base. But why was it inside Jack's house? Charlie guessed maybe his dad worked for the superhero. Meanwhile, Irons and his men were secretly planning to steal Jack's powers. The bearded leader admitted that Firefly had never made a mistake, except for one weak spot, his troublesome son. Back at the base, the kids explored with excitement. They played with a 3D printer, accidentally creating a bunch of gadgets. The chubby kid ended up with a metal-controlling magnet, while Lizzie suddenly floated into the air until Maya grabbed her legs and helped her land safely. Things spiraled into chaos when Charlie triggered an auto-attack drone that locked onto Maya. But thankfully, she had just suited up in a piece of armor. Their mischief didn't stop there. The chubby kid tried a teleportation disc, but it scattered his body parts all over the place. Curious, Maya activated a car that screeched to a halt just inches away from them. It turned out to be Jack's old family car, still holding the same photos and the mug Charlie had once given his dad. That was proof. Jack had kept everything all along. Charlie held the mug tightly, but the energy from his bracelet shattered it. His friends, now panicking, told them they should leave since they had a test the next morning. Maya then had a clever idea. Use Jack's teleportation card to get to school instantly. During the test, she secretly used the teleport disc to send her paper to Lizzie, who passed the answers to the boys. Somehow, all 4 of them ended up acing the test. Later that day, during baseball practice, Charlie secretly used his wristband's power to enhance his throws, hitting every target perfectly. On the final pitch, he pushed the device to its maximum level, blasting the ball through the glove, the wall, and nearly 8,000 nautical miles away. But their reckless experiments had consequences. The orb's energy readings exposed their location. Irons' team picked up the signal, assuming it came from the real superhero, and began tracking it. Meanwhile, Charlie raced through the streets on his bike, police patrols chasing him until he crossed near Jack's house, where the energy-shielded area cut off the signal. Still, Irons' crew had already narrowed down their search zone. At home, Jack called, saying he had to leave for an extended mission, but promised to make it up to Charlie later. Disappointed, Charlie returned to the secret base, where his friends were still messing around with gadgets and pretending to be superheroes. Outside, Irons and his men finally reached the property. They didn't find anyone at first and thought it might be a trap, but a framed photo of Jack with his son confirmed they were in the right place. They also noticed the elevator leading down into the base. At that exact moment, the chubby kid was vlogging, while Charlie and Maya were talking quietly in the billiards room. When they heard strange noises, Maya pulled Charlie behind a pillar and hurried to warn the vlogger. Seeing the intruders' heavy weapons, she guessed they were military and urged that they find Lizzie and escape. But Lizzie, unaware of what was happening, was still chatting on her phone in the bathroom. Spotting a still warm coffee mug, Irons realized someone was definitely inside. When the kids tried to run, he slammed the main door shut. Desperate, Charlie grabbed the mystical orb, which triggered a warning. Alert, energy source removed. The orb glowed, giving Charlie brief visions of his father, until the chubby kid snapped him back to reality. Over the intercom, Irons' voice echoed. He said he didn't know who they were and wouldn't hurt them if Charlie handed over the orb. The kids hesitated. It wasn't theirs. It was Jack's. Upstairs, Lizzie finally realized strangers had broken in. She ran and hid behind a door. Frank, one of Irons' men, came in and ordered his troops to kill her. When one refused, he shot the man dead on the spot. Terrified, Lizzie gasped, giving away her hiding place. She begged for her life. Then came a knock at the door. Frank assumed it was the police, but Lizzie lied, saying it was just a friend and asked to send him away. Instead, she whispered to the visitor, begging them to call the cops. As a result, Big Mac was dragged inside as well. Panicked, he explained that the house only had kids, no adults, which was a relief for Frank. Meanwhile, Charlie's group heard Lizzie and Big Mac's voices over the loudspeakers. The intruders demanded the orb in exchange for their lives. The chubby kid, recognizing his brother, panicked and urged Charlie to hand it over. A heated argument broke out. In frustration, he mocked Charlie's bond with his father. Enraged, Charlie punched him and the boy slapped back before Maya stepped in to separate them. The chubby kid stormed off but returned shortly after. Using his magnetic device to trap Frank, Charlie apologized and they reconciled. With Frank tied up, Maya ripped the tape from his mouth. Frank revealed that the orb was alien technology bonded with Jack, who had only ever tapped a fraction of its power. Frank claimed he had publicly begged for it before being ignored, so he resorted to force, insisting he could solve humanity's darkest problems.
Charlie radioed Irons, demanding a swap, Frank for Lizzie and Big Mac. Irons agreed, but Frank betrayed them, ordering his men to seize the kids. Luckily, Maya had planted a decoy orb and triggered a blackout, allowing the group to escape. But Frank had rigged the bunker with bombs. The explosion hurled the orb into the air and Frank caught it. The kids armed themselves, ready for battle. The orb came into play again. Lizzie snatched it, kicked down a woman, and passed it to Charlie. A muscular man tore off Charlie's wristband, stripping him of his powers, until Maya blasted him back. Meanwhile, the chubby kid and Big Mac fought off another thug. The 5 regrouped at the elevator only to find Irons blocking their path. One by one, he captured Charlie's friends, leaving him alone. Irons claimed he had discovered the orb first and accused Jack of hoarding it to play hero. He took the orb from Charlie and dragged him away, promising to deliver it to Frank, though secretly he had no intention of sharing it. In that fleeting moment of distraction, Big Mac used the magnet to slide the orb through the dimensional gate, sending it straight into the chubby kid's school locker on the other side. When Frank reached into the portal, his hand brushed random objects, but the orb was gone. The kids quickly smashed the portal device to prevent anyone from retrieving it. Just then, Jack appeared upstairs, disguised as a repairman supposedly hired to fix the house tech. Earlier, on a mission, Jack had taken a call from his wife and realized Charlie wasn't with her. Alarmed, he rushed home. Arriving just in time, he descended the stairs slowly, lulling the intruders into complacency, then suddenly activated his utility belt, blasting 2 men into the walls. Jack freed the children and finally admitted to Charlie that he was the superhero. Charlie had long suspected it, but feigned surprise to make his dad smile. They fled together, but Frank ambushed them, knocking Jack to the ground. He was now wearing Jack's spare hero suit. Threatening them, Frank forced the chubby kid to reveal the orb's new location in the locker. Before leaving, Frank set a bomb in the elevator and sealed the door, trapping his own men inside. With the explosion, no one would remain to expose his betrayal. At last, Irons saw Frank's true nature and sided with Jack. Lizzie was tasked with cracking the bunker's security codes, while Maya and Charlie tried to fabricate an escape device. A glitch nearly killed them both, but Lizzie solved the code just in time. Opening the roof hatch, the group escaped into the night as the base exploded behind them. They raced to the school, where Frank had dragged the chubby kid to retrieve the orb, but the teacher, noticing its eerie glow, had locked it away for safekeeping, forcing Frank to wait. When Jack arrived with the kids, he wandered the halls and stumbled upon Charlie's academic achievements pinned to the wall, a small, bittersweet reminder of a son he had missed far too much. The sight struck him deeply. Meanwhile, Frank chased the chubby kid through a school party, forcing him to hide under a table. The orb's glow gave away his position. As Frank reached for him, Jack threw a ball, but Frank caught it effortlessly and counterattacked, knocking Jack down. Without his suit, Jack was just a man, fending off blows from a mob before being overwhelmed. Then Charlie crashed a car through the wall, slamming it into the room. The chubby kid tossed the orb high, and Jack leapt, catching it midair. In a dazzling transformation, he powered up, launching a furious counterattack that sent Frank flying. Jack regained his strength and returned the orb to Charlie. Together, father and son confronted Frank outside. Weakened, Frank called for a pause, complaining he had accidentally put on the winter edition suit. After a quick drink of water, the fight resumed, with Jack battering him using doors and fists. But Frank struck a cheap shot, grabbing Charlie as a hostage. Jack feigned throwing the orb, tricking Frank into releasing Charlie. A desperate struggle over the orb ensued, until Charlie, by mistake, hurled a bomb instead, thinking it was the orb. It collided with the energy core. Jack released his grip just before it exploded. The blast consumed Frank, erasing him, while Charlie was knocked unconscious. Jack rushed to his son's side. As Charlie came to, the first words out of his mouth were, "Did Mia see how cool that throw was?" Moments later, Charlie's mother arrived at the school, and the family was finally reunited. Maya at last accepted Charlie's awkward but sincere confession of love. Days later, Jack kept his promise and took his son camping. Father and son laughed together under the stars. The distance between them had healed, but their peace was short-lived. A new urgent mission arose, and Jack had to answer the call. This time, however, he wasn't going alone. His son stood by his side. No longer just a boy, he was a true partner, ready to face the dangers of the world. Together, they stepped forward, a family reborn in fire and battle.